Welcome back to Strange Form. Today, we're going to be looking at some of the Alien Earth promotional material. So I'm going to be scrubbing through it and discussing what I think I'm seeing and where I think some of the story beats are going, as well as some of my opinions on the new Alien design. I'm not a huge fan, and I'll tell you why. But first off, let's get to watching these promo clips. First we have the Alien Earth theatrical teaser, which isn't much other than a quick shot of the creature in the Earth.
In 2120, Mother Earth is expecting.
Now this one's primarily the same, except for there's a few quick little blips. We're going to go through what these probably are. The first one, I think, is an interior shot from one of the containment units, and I don't actually believe it's a facehugger. I think it's more likely the insect creature we see flying through the ship in one of the later shorts, but we'll get to that in a second. The next one is very obviously the egg opening up. I've heard a lot of people think that this is some sort of creature, and it might very well be, but honestly, it really looks like a cow or horse eye to me. So I'm wondering if this isn't actually something alien, but rather either something from Earth that gets contaminated, or possibly something they brought with them. The final shot is just one of the characters screaming. I think this might be one of the shots that's actually shown from a different angle later on in one of the other trailers, so we'll get to that in a second. So this one has a frantic creature tumbling through the ship, and at first it looks like it might be a facehugger or the xenomorph itself, but I slowed it way down, watched it over and over again, and it appears to be a large insect, some sort of beetle creature. And I think this is actually what we see in that earlier quick clip. I think that it broke containment, and you can see other yellow containment units that it tumbles past as it's flying through the ship. I think this might be a nod to Hudson saying, is this going to be a stand-up fight or another bug hunt? Well, here we have a bug. As some of you may know, the plot of this is about a research vessel that is crash landing on Earth as it's transporting its cargo back to the company. Evidently, it crash lands in a zone controlled by a rival company, and a race to quarantine what's inside ensues. The ship itself is dubbed the USCSS Maginot, which is funny because I think that's a sly wink to a World War II French Minister of Defense who created the Maginot Line, which famously failed, and the very name Maginot came to mean a false sense of security in one's defenses.
When the monsters come, all you can do is scream.
Now, as we scrub through what this one is showing, there's actually some interesting stuff here. First off, we have the cryocontainment pods, very reminiscent of the ones we see in Alien. Then we have troops walking through a field. Now, I have a feeling that the ship actually crash lands in parkland rather than in a city, and that this is the first responders coming to the ship. And if you look closely, there's something really strange here, as one of the characters appears to be either carrying a stuffed animal or some sort of strange bird creature, which makes me wonder if something escaped from the ship as it crashed and they're looking for the source. Could just be some Pokemon thing that they're carrying around. We of course have a shot of somebody touching the egg. A very unrecognizable Timothy Oliphant. Very interesting in the way they went with his character look. And I'm wondering if he's something more than a human character, possibly an android. Then we have the troops who appear to be entering the wreckage. But it's also very possible that these aren't shots from Earth at all, but rather the crew collecting the specimens, as they may have used security to do so. So this could be one or the other. The only reason I say parkland is that because right after the initial shot, we have another shot of the main characters walking through what looks like a park. And then the last shot in this short is the xenomorph menacing one of the characters we saw earlier walking in the forest. Next we have the cat video ship short.
Hello, you little rascal. That's it. How you keep on dropping it? Huh? I'm your boss. Remember who got you the job? Ah, where you going?
Maybe the ocean. That's probably what I miss most. And it's not people. Everyone I know is dead.
Not everyone, but might as well be. The kids are older than me now. Hand me that 3-8. Hand me that 3-8.
If you couldn't go back to Earth, where would you go?
Arcturus, maybe.
Gross. Watch it.
Pick a card.
So my
Cheat, that's you. You're
I know you.
projecting.
I know.
Hey, kitty, kitty. So I want to see me beat this big bad guy.
Flora or fauna?
I'm not sure. Maybe both.
Right.
Still running tests. Jen. Hey, troublemaker. Trying to get a look inside? Yeah. Let's get you somewhere safe.
Grab the fire extinguisher! Hurry up! Come on, come on! Move!
First off, the script reads Restricted Access, Video Recovery File, 5560-01, US CSS Maginot, Deep Space Exploration Vessel, Prodigy City Crash Site. And here, before we see the crew strap a GoPro to the cat, we see the cat on what looks like a schematic board, similar to what we see in Aliens. And then we get to see a cat's POV video, like so much TikTok. Now, one of the more interesting things that the cat stumbles across is what Mother, the computer, has to say, which reads, US CSS Maginot, Priority 1 acquisition and safe return of all organisms for analysis. All other considerations secondary. Now here we see the cat stroll through the halls of the ship and come across two of the characters who appear to be repairing something. I really have the feeling that the show is probably going to be told through current and flashback. So we're going to see what the crew was doing and how it led up to this crash. We're also going to see what happened after the crash and the attempt to contain it. Playing cards in the mess hall. I love the sounds, the little sound effects in the background, and all of the props, very reminiscent of the original film, as well as Aliens. So it's nice to see the design cues that they're jumping off from. Now here she appears to actually be in the laboratory, and we're seeing some of the containment units and specimen jars in the background. They all appear to be filled with some sort of yellow gas, and I wonder if it's some sort of sedative to keep the creatures dormant while they transport them. For some reason, they didn't put the cat in cryosleep, so I wonder what's happening here if a few people are still left awake while this character is sleeping. But we have a very pitch black sudden failure scene where it appears something has gone wrong inside the ship. And next we see just frantic images of people running and yelling, go this way or that way. So either something breached containment, they were hit by something, or whatever they were repairing in that earlier sequence didn't go as planned. Maybe Rimmer forgot to seal the drive plate. gazpacho soup. Now here we have a video that's being passed around the internet, and I don't know who the original videographer is, but it's being passed around everywhere, and it appears to be of the new Alien exhibit, where they're taking you through the crash site. And I only show you this because it appears that whatever is in the containment unit that he's standing next to isn't actually the alien, it's something different. And then of course we have a couple of eggs, which I'm guessing this starts off with them actually picking up the eggs, rather than them grabbing the creature itself. Now, at the end of this exhibit, we appear to get a close-up and personal look of the Xenomorph running around the ship, which is really cool, except, again, I have a major aversion to the design. And my main issue is the way that they decided to do the lips and the lower portion of the face. The mouth is entirely too low. And we'll look at it slowed down here, so you can get a really good look at this thing. And it seems to have the really short stubby tubes that the Romulus creature had. As a matter of fact, even more so, more akin to the newborn at the end of Romulus. So I don't know design-wise what they're trying to do here or what this creature is supposed to have emerged from, but I guess we'll see. And again, it's not a complete deal breaker for me, and I really like Noah Hawley, and I think he's actually one of the best TV writers and directors out there. Fargo is amazing, and Legion is actually one of my favorite series of all time. It was a series that managed to have a beginning, middle, and end, and not feel like it went too far and capped off exactly where it was supposed to. And so I think that the writing is in safe hands. My only worry is budget and of course special effects. And I'm really not in love with this creature design, as the mouth looks very, very low. And it looks a lot like the absolutely awful Hollywood Collectibles life-size statue that was massively overpriced and extremely ugly. As a matter of fact, it looks like what I would imagine a Simpsons version of the Xenomorph to look like. And my heart just sort of sunk when I saw this, as it really does look like that one. And I'm hoping that in execution, it actually looks a lot better. So I'm not going to sit here and just complain about it and say I hate it and I don't like change. I'm going to say my first impression of it is that it's derpy as all get out, but I'd really like to see what it emerged from and maybe some of their reasoning for the way that it looks. So this one might be a lot more interesting than I'm giving it credit for. But if it's simply just something that emerged from a human, I am going to be very disappointed with that very low, strange mouth design and the high lips with the dome protruding from way up high, as well as the very stubby back tubes. But also, this may be something that's maturing and looks really different later on, so it could be something very similar to the Bambi Burster, as a lot of the shots appear to be towards the beginning. So even if I'm not in love with this design, I still am really excited to see where it goes. So in conclusion, I actually am really excited about this. I trust Noah Hawley to produce a really amazing story. I'm not in love with that creature design, but I do wonder how it's going to play out. I think that these shorts are really a cool way of getting us all excited about what's coming, and I hope they continue with these little vignettes. As for what we've seen so far, it says a lot and a little at the same time. We have a series that's probably going to be pretty interesting and is most likely going to add a lot to the alien lore, especially when it comes to whether there's other creatures in the galaxy other than the alien, things that have been found by the company up to this point. And I really think that there's a lot to be explored with what other creatures are in the galaxy and known about up to this point. I am a little bit disappointed that it takes place on Earth. I have been since the beginning. I wish they would stop bringing this series back to Earth until they do a proper alien Earth War story where everything gets completely out of control. And that's what I would like to see in the future. I would like to see the series shoot past the first and second film and maybe even ignore the fourth film and do something in regard to a full-scale infestation. But with so many projects coming out and the Predator series being tied into this as well, I think there's a lot coming down the pike. So I'm not actually that worried about it, and think we'll probably get some really big stories as things progress. But this is all I have to say about it. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and remember, never stop collecting.